What's going on, y'all? Today, this Peter. We back with another book review. Today, we doing Relentless by Tim Grover, one of the trainer of all trainers. He trained MJ, Kobe, D Wade, top of the top trainer out here. So I read his book. He definitely had a lot of heat, a lot of things that we're going to talk about to discuss. It's Peter, another book review. Let's get it. All right, so in the book, you could tell off the back that he really no nonsense. Like, it ain't no secret sauce. Like, let's get that out the way at the beginning. That's a lot of things that he talk about off the rip. There's no secret ingredients. It's purely just dedication, will, and hard work. He eliminated all the nonsense straight from the beginning. If you're not coming to his camp ready to work and ready to train, it ain't gonna work. Also, if you're not ready to listen to his diet and his regimen, it ain't gonna work. And he really talk about how he deal with these millionaires and all these NBA guys and their egos and all that. And he let them know from the rip, it's no secret sauce. It's strictly hard work, dedication, and being disciplined. That's all it is. Another thing he discussed in his book that I thought was pretty dope, he has levels to a type of quality of a person or a quality of an athlete. He got closers, cleaners, and he got coolers. And he breaks it down into depth of which ones is higher, which one is lower. But he got an insane amount of details on what he think about closers, cleaners, and coolers and the role they play in, even in business and life, but especially in athletics and in sports. So I think that was another dope part of how he's breaking it down. I'm not gonna go into all the details because you got to read it for yourself. But I thought that was dope how he go into the details of closers, coolers, and cleaners. It's good. He also talked about how he started training Michael Jordan. And I thought it was funny because, like, he was saying how when Mike first started training, he kept getting his ass kicked by the Pistons or whatever. He couldn't get over the hump or whatever. So he wanted to build some muscle, but it was real taboo back in the day that muscle would mess up your shot and do all these different things. And even when I was with Zai all the time, they would tell Zai not to build muscle and any of the things that he was doing athletically. When he was boxing, he was always just focusing on losing weight and staying quick and staying fast and stuff like that. But I believe if he were training with certain weightlifting coaches, it would have been a lot different throughout the multitude of his career. But he talked about how MJ had hurt his back, so he was scared to work with a trainer. He was afraid to even deal with anybody in that case. So he's like, look, I'm gonna give you one chance to really work with me and see how he do. And after that one chance that he had with MJ, they worked together for the rest of his career. So I thought it was dope. And he started working out when he built the muscle and a long extent of other things as well. So that was dope. He also talked about D Wade and how D Wade had hurt his knee. And I forget which game it was, but it was like one of the, maybe game 5 or game 6 against OKC. And D Wade really wanted to end the series before it went back to OKC. So he really got with the trainer, like, look, I don't want to take this back to OKC. I want to end this series here in Miami. So he was like, all right. So, but nobody thought that D Wade was going to be able to come back because his knee was so messed up. So whatever magic this trainer worked in that time frame and got him ready for game 6. And of course, everybody know they already end up winning and, winning that championship. So I thought that was a dope story as well. One thing that he talked about in his book that I really thought was dope was his list. And he was saying, like, he never pits 1, 2, and 3 on his list. Everything on his list is number 1. Because he don't want nobody to take any other thing on the list as any less significant than the other. So it's like, number 1, do this. Number 1, do this. Number 1, do that. Because he want everything on that list to be taken just as important or just taken just as serious as the last or the first. So everything is 1. Number 1 to number 1 to number 1 to number 1. So I thought that was dope. And actually, I'm going to start using that in my life. Because there's a lot of times I pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 6 will get ignored or 3 will get ignored. Like, well, I got number 1 done, but in all actuality, 1 through 1,000 is just as important to accomplishing the goals and things that you set out that you want to accomplish. You feel me? He also, in his book, talked about how being in the zone is just about mental clarity. It's not about being super hype. It's not about being super anything but clear-minded, focused, and zoned in. And it's funny though, because I even talked to Zai about this, and I reference Zai a lot in this book because it's about athletics. And Zaire Rahim, my brother that used to box, Olympian, title holder, all of that. So when Zai used to fight, we used to try to hype him up as much as we possibly could. just to try to get him in his zone, to get him excited, to get his blood flowing. And I never thought about calming him down, like keeping him calm and relaxed and let him know that, just mental clarity is the most important thing. And I was a kid at the time, but still, hearing somebody that achieved so much at the highest level make you rethink how you did things in the past. You feel me? A couple little side notes. He trained Charles Barkley, and he said Charles Barkley was one of the best athletes he's ever trained in his life. And as far as comparison to demeanor, he was saying D Wade had the closest demeanor to MJ than he's ever seen in his entire life, which I thought was interesting because I just assumed he was going to say Kobe. But he said D Wade had the closest demeanor to MJ, to Michael Jordan, than anybody did. And on the side note, he kind of was stunting on LeBron a little bit, which was funny to me because I don't think he's the biggest fan of LeBron, his whole temperament and mentality, but we'll talk about that. All right, he talked about stressful situations and how beneficial they can be, but as long as it's a correct stressful situation, meaning it's something that's trying to push you to be better, not just any type of nonsense that you're making up for whatever reason, but stress that's built to make you better, stressful situations that's trying to make you improve as a person, as a man, as a woman, as whatever, a father, son. Those are good situations, and try to look at them a different way, see what you can learn and achieve and gain from them situations instead of just looking at it as a negative thing. So I thought that was a good perspective he had on stressful situations. He also talked about in the book about failure, and he was saying like real failure is when you want to bring other people into your mess ups instead of taking accountability. Like if you failing and something happened and you on the team and you blaming everybody else instead of taking accountability for yourself and figuring out what you could have did, that's when you really failing. But if you really take hold of what you did, how you can fix it, how you can correct it, and how you can learn the game, then it's never a failure. It's never a fail when there's a lesson involved. You know what I mean? But if you don't think you did nothing wrong, then it's really a failure there. That LeBron thing again. I really feel like he was sunning LeBron a little bit. Like, I don't know if he was feeling him about his work ethic and stuff. Like, not his work ethic, but just how he go about playing the game or whatever. But he was saying, like, on the LeBron team with Wade and Bosh, he was saying, like, D Wade was really the head honcho, the big dog of that team, and everybody else is just kind of following suit. May or may not be true, I don't know, but this what Tim Grover was saying, that D Wade was that man on that team, not LeBron or Bosh. So I thought that was interesting. Then he talked about like people don't want to make decisions because they don't want to be held accountable. And you know that, you hear that all the time, but when you think about it in this magnitude, like there's a lot of people that don't want that ball, don't want that last shot because they don't want to be held accountable. And it made me think, like, was that another shot at LeBron? I don't know. But I'm not trying to make it like a messy book thing or whatever. But it definitely was an interesting thought process behind what he was saying. Okay, another thing he was talking about was how, I think it was cleaners, they think about the destination, not the journey. Like that's their motivation. That's what their end goal is. So that's what drives them. And he was saying, like, nobody loves 100% of what they do. Like, that's just unheard of and crazy. Like, who loves everything they do? But he was saying, he talked about also receiving gifts and opportunities. And the gift and opportunity is just the beginning of whatever you're trying to accomplish. And I thought that was super interesting because me personally, I've been in so many different instances where I got so many different opportunities that I did not take advantage of. And I fumbled them opportunities just because I got it. I thought that I had made it and it was smooth sailing from there. But as an adult, as I'm learning now, the reality is once you get them opportunities or them clients or them jobs or them positions, whatever it may be, them businesses, that's just the beginning of it. The real work comes in everything after that, maintaining that job, maintaining that business, maintaining them clients. And that's something that I learned once I matured and grew up a little bit more, because I was handed a lot younger and I messed up a lot of different opportunities, but I'm figuring it out. You feel me? That's what you call accountability. I had a theory when I was like, before I read this book and even for a while, and it's becoming a common thing now, but my theory on LeBron was the reason why he has so much longevity is because he doesn't go 1,000% at all times. And I feel like LeBron figures his spots and picks his opportunities where he know he has to go hard. And it was for a while. I even heard Shaq saying this on the bus one time. He was saying how, like, let Tim Duncan do whatever he got to do. Let him score, let him do whatever, but maintain everything else. Like, you don't have to go all out on everybody. Just let Tim do what he ever gonna do and Tim Duncan, because they was playing them in the playoffs, but we gonna control everybody else. And it kind of made me think about that, like one of the reasons why a lot of these players do have longevity, because they don't be given 1,000% in the season, and then in the playoffs, it's like once the playoffs hit, we turn it up a little bit, because that's when it really counts and when it matters. So I think that's the same thing with LeBron. But it's just a theory, like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, LeBron can dominate any play at any time he want. And he plays a certain style that sometimes you agree with, sometimes you don't. But at the end of the day, I think he just built chasing that longevity more than anything. And I could be wrong, but just a thought process. A couple more things and I'll be done with this book review. One thing he said to me that I thought was hilarious. He called entourages PhDs, professional holders of dicks. I never heard nobody call a PhD that. And I thought it was hilarious because he don't like entourages at all. So he tell them if they're going to come to him, just come strictly by themselves. Don't bring your entourage. So I thought that was hilarious. A couple more things, man. He talked about the truth, how it's simple and clean and there's no need for explanation once you're telling the truth. And I've always been big on that, just being honest and being the truth teller. So I thought that was interesting. And he was saying it's not weak to switch up your game or try a different method or find another way. He was saying it's weak when you just quit. So to everybody out there that's grinding, trying to make things happen, just know if you need to switch up your game plan, try something new. Don't get discouraged. Don't think that you failed and don't think it's over. It's just another opportunity to figure out a different route so you can get to your way of success that you need to be. Overall, man, this book was dope. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely some interesting stories about Michael Jordan, about Kobe Bryant, about Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and countless other individuals that was in this book. But I definitely thought it was dope. It's Relentless by Tim Grover. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. Comment. Let me know what y'all want me to read next. It's Pito.